Hello and welcome to you to a beautiful summery Christmas in Australia. I'm not sure if it's going to turn up on the video, but we've got cicadas here and they're very, very loud. But I'm sure I can fix that so they're not so dominant. So welcome, and this is a gift from several people. It's a gift for Christmas. And I think this gift really reflects, what Christmas is about, at least in my mind. I see Christmas as a Christ Mass, when a mass of people come together and celebrate the Christ within. And I think for each one of us, sometimes there's a judgment on what that word Christ means. But, if we just go to the very core, it's, the core of love. To me is what, the Christ is. It's joy, it's innocence, it's this drive to express the self and become more. It's just this, and also, just wanting to reach out to other people and share that love with one another. The act of gift giving is another beautiful act of that comes through with Christmas. And, it has its challenges also. I know I've been through a few Christmases where I felt I was alone, and I'm going to be alone this Christmas, but, that I was alone, and it brought up a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, because I knew all around me people were coming together and celebrating. And that challenge, I even went into a psychosis one year, and there were many other people who they went into that exactly the same happened with them. When I went into the psych ward, it was kind of like this, I don't know, like a club of people. They all knew one another, and it was like they all went in at this time of year. And, so it does bring up the traumas. So what I wanted to share, the message that I want to share with Christmas, about Christmas, is I use it as a time, like I see it as a period of time where you've got Christmas there and spanning all the way to the new year. Now, just like in Dickens' story, A Christmas Carol, and you've got the ghost of Christmas past. So I've often used Christmas as a time to look back. It's sort of not just on the single day, but as a time to look back over a period of time, to reflect back on the year and see what was, where have I been? What have I been working through? What have I discovered? And I use that reflection of looking back as a way of looking forward. So, just to project, like sort of what intent and drive, and how do I want to move forward in the year to come. So, it's a time for me. It's a time to, and I do also, as another little aspect, I do like to actually just reach out to people. Like I said, I'll be spending Christmas alone this year. I think I am. You never know, something might happen at the last minute. I'm not too worried this year. I don't feel like past years, and I encourage you to do this if you do find it challenging, is to come up with contingency plans, and I used to do that as a way of working out how am I going to cope with the challenge of being alone. This year, I'm really not too fussed, but I will make the effort and reach out to family. Luckily, I'm from a very big family, so there's many, many people I can reach out to and do video calls and, just be present with different people. Oh, Muzzy. Just be present with all the people that I just feel like reaching out to and connecting with, and just enjoying that process. Simple. So, sharing in the way we can in the modern world. We've got this video technology, and also bringing people together to create this video, this compilation video. This is another thing that I've come up with, although it's not really a coping mechanism, it's a gift. So please receive this gift. of love from myself and from all the beautiful people who each have their own messages and reflections on, what Christmas represents for them and what message they want to share with you. So welcome and enjoy. Merry Christmas.
1, 2, 3. Hello! And greetings from a snowy Lithuania.
From our big family.
And cozy home. Christmas for us is a time when we can be together, our big family. It is the time of the year when there is most darkness, yet we celebrate light. Christmas for us is a time of year when we can be together in our cozy home with our whole family and celebrate peace, celebrate light, although it's the time of year when it's the darkest time. Yet the hope is here that the light will prevail.
So yes, outside we have a lot of darkness, but inside home we have a lot of light. And also it's a time when, for me, it's a time when I more go inside myself and have more peace, more thoughts about myself, and can have more work with myself also. So I wish you to look in this time inside and take responsibility for our reactions and be the masters of our lives, be the masters of our reactions and our lives. So,
and we wish you happy Merry Christmas!
Bye bye.
What does Christmas mean to me? To me, Christmas means a time at the end of the year where we come together with our loved ones to give and receive freely. It's a time where the Christ child in all of us is born and paves the way for a new year. For children, Christmas is a time when Santa Claus comes down a chimney and gives them presents while they leave out milk and cookies. It's meant to be a joyous time, celebrated around the world, and you don't have to even be a Christian to enjoy its celebrations. And that is basically what Christmas means to me.
What does Christmas mean to me? Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere in America, it is the darkest time of year. And what we know about the darkness is that it is nothing without the light. We would not know either without the other. So my prayer and proclamation for this birthing of the Christ in all of us is that we all unify as one Christed being with all of our unique individual flames burning brightly, lit together side by side, to beckon forth and bring in the Christed age, the golden age, here below as we are above, so the earth can be all that she is below, that she is above. For the sake of humanity, for the sake of humankind, for the sake of what it is to be embodied on earth, may we live out all that we came here to be and express it fully and light up the darkness.
Christ Mass is more than what I can say with words. And yet, every word is founded on the Mass of Christ. So no matter what our background is, this experience to surrender and still acknowledge the reflection in the mirror is more than the experience we have so far had on planet Earth, being a planet of great difficulty and great beauty. There's a part of me that wants to delete this video because, oh, you're not talking quick enough. You're not talking in a very fiery or dynamic or perhaps wise way. It needs to be better than what it already is. And so for me, that has created these forms in which certain people have freebased without any professional help, are starting to realize that this entire society we have could be a free base for seeing the contrast and deciding whether or not to see what is beyond contrast. And the will to surrender through techniques, practices, knowledge, our current sense into a sense that is united. No matter what happens, despite some of the situations we face that We will go on. We will remember. We will realize that everything is based in our realization of this grand stage we call life.
Hi, my name is Mirangel and I live in the US in Brockton, Massachusetts. I did not grow up celebrating Christmas, but over the years, I've come to appreciate the deeper meaning, the deeper spirit of the experience. To me, it represents love, joy, hope, caring, sharing, friendship, togetherness, just to name a few. These qualities set a beautiful tone for the new year and remind me to carry them into my daily interactions with family, friends, and even strangers. When I first moved to the US, I often felt alone while adjusting to a new environment and building new connections. However, I kept the spirit of Christmas alive in my heart, thinking back to festive times in my home country, where friends became family and acts of kindness lit up even the darkest moments for those in need. This Christmas, whether you are surrounded by loved ones or spending it quietly on your own, I hope you feel the warmth of this season, filled with love and joy and hope as we move into the new year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2025.
Hi guys, Dylan here. Neptune asked me to make a video about what Christmas means to me. And I put it off for a couple of weeks because I didn't know if I had a clear answer. And I wanted to give a clear answer, and I still don't have a clear answer, but I'm going to try to keep this short and just share my personal experience. So my whole life, Christmas was a time of extremes. I would have moments where I would be in love, joy, giving, and feel very good. But it was also the time where I felt the most depressed and the most darkness. So, especially before I found the spiritual path, and then after as well, it was a really difficult time. I looked forward to it. Christmas has always been my favorite holiday, but I couldn't understand why I felt so many extremes. Recently, over the past 5 years, things have changed, and Christmas has become a lot less dramatic, a lot less polarizing, and it's sort of been a more joyful experience. But, I think that Christmas, this time of year in general, is a time for self-reflection. It's a time to look back on the year, look at the lessons that we learned or maybe could learn, and to create a new vision for the coming year. So for me now, it's a time for reflection. It's also a time of giving. Christmas as a kid, used to be about receiving, and now I find my greatest joy in giving and thinking about others and going beyond myself, going beyond the self-focused self, you might say. There's still, I find that it's an interesting time for a lot of people. And I remember actually listening to this one yogi, who I have a lot of respect for. He's since passed on. But he was talking about, on his path, he would always feel this tremendous pain in his being the closer he got to the holidays, and then it would dissipate after the holidays. But he said that the more he advanced in his path, and once he reached the level of Christhood and then kept going up, the pain dissipated. Like once he had unified with the Christ mind, joined the river of life, the pain dissipated. But it was only until that point that the pain went away. And I think that's really what this time does, is it magnifies within us whatever's going on, the light and the darkness. And I've found it beneficial to focus as much as I can on the light. And it reminds us that healing is most effective when we go beyond ourselves. When we seek to give, we become the open door. And when we become the open door, that light illuminates within our being the wounds and the limitations that we've upheld. And the light is also healing. You know, I've kind of been on this journey of, it's been a bumpy path, but I feel like I've always tried to destroy the darkness that I've sensed within my being. Trying to remove it, you know, but try shoveling the darkness out of a room, it doesn't work, right? I've been more focused on recently bringing the light in to naturally exfoliate the darkness and the illusions from my being. And yeah, it's almost like the positive path. And so that's what I've been focusing on. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, Christmas is an interesting time, but I think that it is a great magnifier for what's happening in our beings. And it's a great gift. That's the gift, to receive the Christ child within our own being. That's the metaphor. So I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and may the light illuminate your heart, mind, and soul.
Hi. So, Christmas is for me a time of letting go of that which no longer serves me. The old stuff that I worked on during the last year, and now I'm finally able to let go of the things that have still burdened me, but I experience that they don't burden me anymore so much. So for me, it's a time of forgiveness. I especially this year learned about forgiveness. It's not about just forgiving, but also for me is accepting the things as they are and accepting people as they are, with whom I was involved with, and not wanting to change them or not wanting to change the situation, make it better or whatever. That was a great learning experience for me the last year. So I'm so very happy to experience a new form of freedom. And this allows me to experience gratitude for life's challenges and for being involved with people who have come my way and touched me both positively and negatively. Ultimately, every experience for me is a positive one because it gave me the opportunity to let go of the old burdens and experience a new and higher form of freedom and joy and abundance. So to give an impression of what this time of year looks for me personally, I've made a video of the many aspects and people in my life that are dear to me and that I enjoy so intensely. Because Christmas is for me letting go and transcend, not wanting to take my burdens with me into the new year, but also experiencing the joy, the gratitude, because I've grown and because I have a higher form of love in my heart, so that I can share it with my loved ones and with people with whom I work with, people who I give service to. So I wish everyone a nice, warm, loving time where growth, development, and making higher decisions are central. And in this way, we help ourselves, the people around us, the collective consciousness, towards a more beautiful, loving experience of life. So wishing all a warm, loving Christmas season. Bye-bye.
Christmas for me, for the most part, has been a joyful experience. Despite the stressful times of gift giving and buying gifts and finding who gifts there are for others, make sure everybody has their gifts in a family with the children and all that we have. But for the most part, I really have enjoyed and do enjoy the coming together of family. So for me, it's that period of time of the year where everybody can get together, which is usually pretty hard for everybody's schedule, and that we can have our shared time, intimate time, connection, and have relationships, and be able to enjoy each other, play games, and just hang out, and really reconnect. So for me, it's been, for the most part, quite a joyful experience having Christmas together, despite some of the stresses of the holidays and all that goes on during this busy time of the year. And also on a spiritual level, I really feel that it's a time to connect with the Christ consciousness. Has always been something that I've always felt really connected to, and that, to the life flame and to the presence of Jesus, the Ascended Master Jesus, and his energy and his love and his joy, really, the joy flame that he has, and I like to connect with. So those are the things that I really enjoy about Christmas, and I know it's been, for many people, very different meanings, but I have enjoyed that a lot. I love seeing the excitement of everyone around us, the gathering of our children with Irena and others. So that's been a beautiful thing for me. So that's my wish, and that's my feelings of Christmas, and certainly my wish for everyone is to be able to tap into that joy flame from the heart of Jesus, and also to the Christ consciousness that is certainly there, present, ever present, but certainly more so during the Christmas times, and through the sharing of community and love and family. And I hope that for everyone, and feel that love that we all have for life and for each other, for our loved ones, and for the presence of God within us. Blessings. Bye-bye.
I'm Ruth Pasquine, and I've been following Kim Michaels for many years, and Neptune invited me to make some comments about my experiences with Christmas, and so I decided to share. And so I'd say that my Christmases were not particularly pleasant, although they weren't horrible, mainly due to my parents' constant bickering. My mother did not like Christmas, and she didn't like getting the tree, she didn't like wrapping the presents, she didn't like cooking dinner. And a lot of it had to do with this basic polarization between my parents. My mother was German, Dutch, Scotch, English, and my father was Italian. My mother was Protestant and my father was Catholic. My mother was a Republican and my father was Democrat. And so my father, being Italian, certainly had expectations about family and having a big family. And, he saw himself as, going to work and supporting the family, and my mother as taking care of the household duties in a very traditional way. And my mother just really, after she had 4 kids, she realized that she really didn't really like that role. And so she was really caught in between generations, in the sense that she couldn't really break away from that role model. And so, she wanted to be more individual and develop herself. And she did go to college and she got her master's and she did work for a short time. But she couldn't make that leap, I guess, really into acknowledging what she did accomplish so anyway, she was depressed most of the time. And the constant bickering, my father's expectations, and then her resisting it, that went on. That was just constant. And so so during Christmas, everything was exaggerated, or it was amplified. All of the issues were amplified during Christmas. And so so it was very difficult. And I guess the way it affected me the most was the problem that they were always so sort of self-absorbed in what they were going through that they didn't have much of a relationship with me or my siblings. So the upshot of that is that I would have difficulty with relationships. But it also gave me a certain perspective. I mean, I certainly spent a long time trying to figure out what was going on, and looking at the psychological development dimensions of what was going on, and making peace with it. And so that's how my Christmases went, which were okay. They weren't great, but I survived. And so that's how my Christmases went. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas.
Hello, my dear unascended master. Hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas to you. So Neptune put the question, what does Christmas mean to me? The agenda to this video. Well, before I got into Ascended Master's teachings, Christmas was just another tick on the calendar, to be honest. Just another reason to figure out on my relatives. The best part of it was that we celebrated twice in my country, so I had more opportunities to use some fine food. Now, as you know, as I got into the teaching, and I know that both days are made up, so I didn't switch into giving it any spiritual significance, except for one thing. Yeah, as someone who is aware of what is going on this planet, I know that this is an opportunity to give a good service, good spiritual service. Now, let me give some examples of this. Yeah, so back in 2021, I experienced the moment of New Year, while walking to my friend's house. For a few minutes in this very moment, when all the people were chilling and shouting and launching fireworks, I sensed that the vibration of the collective was far beyond its normal level, was raised up tremendously, because not all maybe, but the vast majority of people were experiencing a positive emotion. And I spontaneously synced to Archangel Uriel's presence. I experienced divine peace, all the while the space around me was blowing up because all those fireworks and shouts and stuff was going bam, 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 wah, around me. Yeah? But I was completely detached from it, and I was experiencing a peace I probably never tuned into to such a degree of peace after that, just yet, although it was 2 years ago. Yeah. So I realized that if I can give, if I have nothing to do, strictly speaking, with my life during Christmas, New Year, and similar events, where the majority of people are celebrating, I can give the calls. and the calls will be very efficient, hopefully. Yeah. So hopefully many people will have an opportunity to sing to their ascended master's presence. Yeah, now I know this is a bit technical. Yeah, but Neptune also said that we're doing this relief because some of people may experience Christmas as traumatic. So let me add a personal touch, although not directly related to Christmas. Yeah. And know what it feels like when people around you are celebrating and you feel like you're ripped off the very ability to celebrate, to be happy. And know what it feels like to be broken. You cannot even find the desire to build yourself up. Know what it feels like when you wake up in the morning and you forsake that moment. You curse that moment because you know you cannot get immediately back to sleep. You start hating it. And right out of this state, just a couple of days. Who knows, maybe I will experience this state a few times more before I completely resolve the wounds between me. Overall, I spent more than 5 years experiencing this state. Yeah? To tell you what, even when you feel like completely broken, do not give any permanence to it. These too shall pass. I testify this. Yeah? And imagine when you are in this state, imagine what would you do and say to a person in this state when you happen to be nearby. Yeah, you probably would hug them and whisper them some words of love, wouldn't you? So now this person is you. So do it to yourself. And it will work. Trust me. Actually, I paid money for this move. It's not exactly my idea. It was given to me by my therapist, and it works wonders. This what got me out of another cycle of depression. Even the hardest rock of Petra itself will be worn out little by little by the stoppable unconditional God love. So this is my message to you. Yeah, I love you. Wish you all the love and peace and healing you may need.
Hi everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. These greetings from Central Asia. My name is Ainura. I'm from Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. And I'm very happy to celebrate this Christmas with all of you. Be part of this, to be a part of this Christmas video compilation where we share about our Christmas experience, what it means. In our region, we do not celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. Instead, we have Orthodox Christmas in January. But being born in a non-Christian family, I've never celebrated Christmas. But I do like how it's celebrated in Western countries. I like the atmosphere itself. And I see that nowadays, Christmas, it's more than a religious holiday. It is like cultural, secular cultural event, symbolizes love, hope, generosity. And I like how people decorate their home. So many streets, so many beautiful lights, colorful lights. I even decorated my New Year trees in order to create this atmosphere during this recording. By the way, it's my first experience of recording myself, and I'm very excited about that because I've learned something about this, and I would like to thank Neptune for inviting me to be part of this. What I love more about this celebration of Christmas, the potential embedded in the celebrations, the potential that Jesus mentioned in his beautiful answer about Christmas holiday, the potential that is the birth of Christ within everyone. I'm very grateful to our brother Jesus for being an example of manifesting personal Christhood. And I'm so grateful that he reminded me in this lifetime this truth. it happened was when I was 33. He appeared one night. He appeared in my dream, walking on water, and without any words, he conveyed some message that I figured out only after 3 years. During that 3 years, I was studying various spiritual teachings, including the teachings of the previous dispensation of the Ascended Masters. In late 2006, I discovered Kim's website, Ask Real Jesus, and the first teachings I read, it was first 7 discourses, Jesus discourses, drawn from the book The Christ Was Born in You. And that profound revelation reminded me about something very essential for me, about my deeper inner desire to let Christ be born in me, to manifest my personal Christhood. I might say that my personal Christmas took place in the spring of 2007, after 33 days practicing of attunement with Jesus and my Christ self. So the last day of that practice came to Easter. And in 2007, Orthodox and Catholic Christmas was on the same day. And in Orthodox Christmas, usually they say Christ is risen. So I automatically pronounced Christ is risen. And I just felt with all my awareness this answer without words. Yes, truly, he has risen, and this time he has risen in your being. It was so excited that I began crying. The tears started flowing from my eyes. And in that moment, I just realized with all my inner being that yes, he has risen. The Christ child, Christ child eventually was born in my being, in my heart. The growth of Christ child was not easy at all. Sometimes it was very joyful, other times very painful, with a lot of tears. But step by step, with tremendous help of Jesus, I eventually reached that point where I locked in on the rock of Christ, where nothing, absolutely nothing could and can pull me away from. It took about 5 years when Jesus was my most closest brother and teacher, but also he was my personal psychotherapist with whom I shared absolutely everything. I was speaking, telling, communicating with words, but what I received was just awareness. The answers was not linear. I've never heard anything, but I just received clear awareness that this came from Jesus. And it was really very healing period. And at that time, the book, the Master Key of the Personal Christhood became like a Bible for me. 13 years have passed since then. During this period, I went through initiations of the Sun Race, that is self-mastery course, went through healing of cosmic birth trauma, overcoming primal self. And through all this process, I have locked in this ongoing, never-ending self-transcendence and self-rebirth new being in Christ. And I might say that today I celebrate Christmas almost every day, because every time when I overcome certain unrealities in my being, when I dismantle next strip of my pseudo individuality or model self, I'm reborn in Christ awareness, in higher awareness. So I might say that I am the living Christ in the making, but I reach certain level of Christ awareness when I claim that I am the living Christ in this level of awareness. And I'm always alert to liberate Christ in my being further, to reach next level of Christ awareness. I'm always open for that. And I also experience this Christmas, the birth of Christ child, in other people, especially the ones who are part of this mandala of 10,000 beings who have potential to manifest the highest level of Christ consciousness, and also mandala of millions of beings who are ready to manifest certain level of Christ consciousness. So this celebration of Christmas happens almost every day. And I feel that each and every one of you are also part of this process. We are all brothers and sisters in Christ, and I'm happy to be part of this family. Once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.